I'm Kevin Thomas, Senior Pastor of Forest Lake United Methodist Church. Thank you for joining us as we consider this week's lectionary readings. Today, let's talk about 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 13 through 18. But we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about those who have died, so that you may not grieve as others do who have no hope. For since we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so, through Jesus, God will bring with him those who have died. For this we declare to you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will by no means precede those who have died. For the Lord himself, with a cry of command, with the archangel's call, and with the sound of God's trumpet, will descend from heaven, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive, who are left, will be caught up in the clouds together with them to meet the Lord in the air. And so we will be with the Lord forever. Therefore comfort one another with these words. What happens when you die? That was the question at the church of Thessalonica. Perhaps it's your question too. So let's look at Paul's answer. The early believers, pretty much all of them, expected that Jesus would return during their lifetime. He had promised to come back, and so naturally they expected that Jesus would return before they died. Well, in Thessalonica, some of the believers began to die, and it caused questions and concerns, maybe even grief, among those that were a part of the church. They didn't know what would happen to those souls since they hadn't survived long enough to see Jesus return. So what happens when you die? What happened when they died? Paul writes these comforting words. Listen to what he says, that God will bring with him those who have died. Now, if at Jesus' return, he is bringing with him those who have already died, then at the moment of death, obviously, the believers must have left this world and gone into the next. The moment we die, we go into the presence of Jesus so that we can come back with him later. That's what Paul is trying to explain to the people, that there's no limbo time, that their loved ones that have died are in no danger, but in fact, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. You know, whenever I do a funeral, I usually commit the body to the grave with these words. For as much as this person's spirit has already entered into the life immortal, we now therefore commit his or her body to this resting place, remembering how Jesus said upon the cross, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. So what happens to us when we die? For faithful lives, when we die, immediately we're present with God.